So when I heard that, I was just like, my heart kind of broke. Again, I'm not trying to sound like I'm like judgmental. I have all the answers, but I've been there. Alrighty, guys, gals, non-binary pals. Dude, I'm so excited about the video today. Before we get into it, I do want to say, if you would love to join these lovely people here on the side of the screen, we would love to have you. I stream on Twitch every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is completely free to join. Doesn't cost you anything. We would love to have you. Also, if you would love to pick up a shirt, we have shirts as well as we got the hoodies. We got black and white hoodies and shirts up to a size 5XL. The Be Kind collection means a lot to me. I would love for you to pick one up. There will be links down in the description. Up to a size 5XL. There's also stickers if you want to pick those up, but I'm very, very happy with them, and it seems like a lot of people like them as well. So today what we are going to be talking about is from the channel Jubilee, and I have seen many, many videos from their channels, as well as many people talking about the videos from their channels because they are very interesting. So we are going to be going over one of their videos from their Middle Ground series, where they have a polarizing topic. They have people on both sides of the spectrum come and try and find middle ground. So today, the title of their video is Can Fat and Fit Influencers Find Common Ground? And then, so the way that they do it is they have people, they ask a question, and if you agree, you're going to step up. So I'm going to try and pause the video and tell you if I would step up or not, right? So I'm going to act like I'm there because I wasn't invited. A little rude, but it's okay. I'm not even mad or anything about it. But we're gonna go and watch this video.
Hey, do you love middle ground? I know.
So this is an ad, so we're just going to skip it a little bit. Sorry, middle ground. I apologize.
I just can't get behind being complacent.
Well, I want to say that it doesn't mean complacency.
Thank you for inviting me to this. I'm very excited. My name is John. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is John, ObesetoBeast. I've lost 180 pounds, and I make YouTube videos helping people do the same. I'm really excited to be here.
My name's Timothea, and fitness has been a huge part of my life, and I love to share what I know about it. Overall, it's just a way of life.
My name is Tyler. I'm a fat influencer, and on my platform, I like to spread body positivity, mental health awareness, and fashion, looking good while fat.
So when I think of the word fat influencers, I think of influencers who are either promoting others to be fat in the same sense that fitness influencers promote fitness.
I don't like people that obsess over being fat, just like I don't like people that obsess over fitness. I'm in my own fitness.
It's kind of interesting because it doesn't seem like a lot of people, these people have like, they're not followed by millions of people, right? That's not a dig or anything. I just noticed that. That was interesting to me.
Journey, and a lot of people like it because I'm not the stereotypical dude.
The misconception that the opposite side has of me is that I have some agenda to keep people fat, to promote obesity, to tell anybody anything about their size.
The whole thing with being fat online and that equates to promoting obesity is incredibly stupid to me and very annoying. I really hate that, like that trope or whatever. It's so dumb.
Step forward if you agree. I promote healthy standards as an influencer.
Obviously, I would step forward here at this question, right? Why is it taking so many of you so long? They're like, Am I just go? I don't know. Sorry.
I think we need to discuss what healthy means first.
Facts. 100%.
Because healthy means many different things. So, like, what does health mean to you guys?
For me, I don't focus on diet and weight loss as a tool for health and how I communicate that. I focus on movement and finding movement that works for you, that feels good and is sustainable in your body. Because ultimately, I think everybody would agree, movement is healthy, exercise is healthy. In the fitness world, and I myself am a yoga instructor, so I kind of straddle both sides. I think there's an overemphasis on physicality and diet and exercise.
Personally,
I think there's an overemphasis on slimness. Slimness equaling health, or shreddedness, for those bodybuilders out there, equaling health, right? I think that that's very true.
I'm a fat guy, and I've been tired of being a fat guy.
So this guy right here, his demeanor, because I've obviously already seen this, or not obviously, I've already seen this. His demeanor, I just want you guys to check this out, reminds me of how I was when I first started losing weight, okay? It's very interesting seeing him where he's at in this moment because I relate to that because that's how I felt when I first started. It's very, very interesting. They all seem like nice people, but just keep a lookout for him.
And I've actually been told that my approach to it is a little bit extreme. So, I'll do like 24-hour fasts. I'll do intermediate fasting, liquid diets, things like that. Some people say it's an unhealthy habit. They say like I got an eating disorder, but at the same time, I am seeing results. I do feel like I can run faster, jump higher, walk longer.
So basically, he is stuck in, I want to see results as fast as possible. And you feel like because you are seeing results, you can stick to that for a long period of time. But it's this catch-22 because I feel like most people, when you're in that position, in the back of your head, this is not something that I can do for the rest of my life, right? I've talked about this a lot. When I first started losing weight, I used to joke with my friends like, yeah, I'm not doing this in a healthy way, but once I lose the weight, then I'll get healthy. That is a very dangerous game to play, right? And it seems like that's where he's at. I'm not trying to make him feel bad. I understand. I was there. But I just think there is a better way, and hopefully he finds that on his own. Maybe we can have a conversation, but hopefully he finds that way eventually in his journey, right?
I kind of feel like when I hear the term fat influencer, I'm thinking like an unhealthy standard being set. I just can't get behind being complacent.
Well, I want to say that it doesn't mean complacency, right? So a little bit about me is that I was a 3-sport athlete almost my entire life, went to college and played a sport. And then I decided, I've always been, a big person, and I was able to manipulate my weight because I also wrestled. So I would bulk up for football season, lose for wrestling, and rinse and repeat. Because of that, though, now my approach is really just about making sure that you take care of your total self.
It's interesting hearing that, right? Because that is a very specific, like he's had a very specific life, right? 3-sport athlete. He's always been athletic. And so he has like a different outlook than someone that maybe has been just kind of, maybe they even weren't that big and then they slowly started gaining weight because they were sedentary and they're realizing like this weight for me is really causing a lot of issues and I can't carry it well. Like I really do think, and maybe this is terrible for me to say, but like some people do carry their weight differently. Like this dude obviously is freaking like a big dude. Like you can just tell he's a tall guy. Like he carries his weight a lot better than some other people would, right? I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. It's just something that I noticed.
So your mind and your body, and also just making sure that you check in with, medical professionals. I work in healthcare, and so I don't tend to take advice from people who are not medical professionals.
That's really interesting because you hear a lot of people that are they're not saying that they're health at every size, but they almost say don't talk to doctors because doctors will just make you feel worse, right? I thought that was interesting as well.
And I would just like to speak up, we're all different. Yeah, there are fat influencers out there that have unhealthy lifestyles that share it, but that's their lifestyle. There are fat influencers that are motivational, that are trying to lose weight. There are fat influencers out there that just are existing in this world.
These are good points because you can flip that for the other side of the spectrum, right? There are, and I've called it out many times on this channel, there are fit influencers that promote way unhealthier stuff than these fat influencers will. So, hey, I'm just saying.
And trying to make it accommodating to themselves and people that look like them. So there are so many fat people in this world, and to like label them all a certain way or to put them in a category where they have to perform to make you feel comfortable is disingenuous. It's not good.
Well, that's what kind of upset me. That's why I started my journey at the end of the day was because, I was depressed. I lost my job in the midst of COVID, and I'm unhappy with who I am. And then I see someone on social media that's like, it's okay to be who you are. And I was like, you're telling me that the way I feel is okay, but at the end of the day, I hate how I feel. And so it was kind of out of protest that I started this journey. And I'm damn glad I did. At the end of the day, you're doing a disservice to the people around you that care about you, whether it be close, relatives, society, etc. And to see someone use a platform like that as a fellow fat kid my entire life, it just pissed me off.
I hear what you're saying and it's valid.
So it's really interesting hearing, again, I'm not even going to say whether or not I agree or disagree with what he has to say. At the end of the day, it's just really interesting to hear. You can tell he's being very honest, and I think that's great. A lot of times I think people come on these panels and they maybe don't share exactly how they feel because they don't want to maybe, hurt someone else's feelings or come off as like a jerk. And so I really do think that it's cool that he's just straight up being honest. At least that's what it seems like to me. It's really interesting getting inside of the mind of someone that is like obviously very, very much so at the start of their journey and working through these things, in real time, right?
I've been fat my entire life. I was a fat kid, fat teenager, fat adult, just fat. And that is not my story. And I see that played out over and over and over again in the world, in art, in TV, in movies, like the sad fat trope, nobody's gonna want you. And that plays into the way we treat fat people, but that is not everybody's story. So
That's true.
like, I hear that you were sad, you were unhealthy, you were uncomfortable, you were isolated, like we can all relate to that, but that is not the story of every fat person.
So those are all great points, and that's why I make it very clear, right? When I make my videos, I don't tell every fat person they need to lose weight, or if they don't lose weight, they're gonna die. If you want to lose weight and you are watching my videos, let me share information that I think will help you. If you don't want to lose weight, I don't know why you'd be watching my videos, but like I understand that that's why I always try and say, like, when I was at my heaviest, I felt this way. But there might be people that are at that weight that didn't feel that way, and that's fine, right? I think that that's a very interesting, like I love that she put it that way because I do agree.
I am on a journey to like myself in my skin. And that is something I believe is obtainable through hard work and dedication. I mean, nothing else worked, loving yourself, quote unquote, made me eat KFC 3 times a day and gain a lot of weight and turn sedentary. Hating myself encouraged me to be different and encouraged me to change my life. And as a result, I've influenced thousands of kids younger than me's lives.
So when I heard that, I was just like, my heart kind of broke. Again, I'm not trying to sound like I'm like judgmental or I have all the answers, but I've been there, and I talk a lot about like changing from a place of self-love versus a place of self-hatred. And I've even said this in the past, like I hated what obesity did to me, right? I hated what it took away from my life. I hated the things that it made me not be able to do. I hated how it made me feel in certain ways, but I always loved myself, right? Because I personally feel like if I tried to lose weight, if I actually hated myself, I would have never actually tried to lose the weight because it's freaking hard. Like it takes a lot of time and effort and you have to really push really hard. And so to do that, I obviously had to love some part of myself to want to go through that, that pain, that struggle, whatever you want to say it is. Right. So again, maybe it's just nitpicking how we're phrasing stuff, but it's just, it's sad to hear that, I don't want anybody to hate themselves, obviously. Right.
Fat shaming is worse than skinny shaming.
All right, so this one's going to be controversial, but I would step forward on this one. Just being honest, I would.
When you thin shame somebody, it is based off of aesthetic. Like, oh, you're so skinny. Yeah. I wish I could be like that. I wish I could eat whatever I want and stay skinny. There are these assumptions we have about people in fat bodies that we don't place on thin people, even if they're thin beyond health. And it really makes it so that fat people are overlooked, and it creates an environment where it's okay to perpetuate hate and even violence,
Being thin won't limit you from being able to shop where you want to shop. You can walk into a
Facts.
Clothing store, get clothes right off the rack, sometimes even have excess. You could go up or down the rack. In my experience, those are not my options. I shop online because I wear a size 15 shoe, because I'm 6'2", and I have a very broad body.
The skinny shaming, you know, there is that backhanded compliment. You know, you see that all the time. But when it comes to the fat shaming, you just see more negative out of it. And I just, you know, it's horrible to see.
But being fat is still taboo, believe it or not.
Yeah.
My partner and I'm a gay man, dating another fat black gay man, and we have gone viral on the internet a couple times. And you know what some of the comments were? Never seen two fat people together. I get pats on the back for posting a picture at the beach with no shirt on. Why am I being patted on the back for that?
Right.
Can the disagreeer step forward?
So I'm seeing people in the chat like disagree with me, which I figured you would. So the way that I, in my own personal experience, how I've dealt with fat shaming, obviously, and I've dealt with fit shaming, or skinny shaming, whatever you want to call it. And I'm sorry, like for me, it doesn't compare. Am I saying that you should shame people? No, of course not. Like, am I saying that you should discriminate against people? No, of course not. Like, duh, like, of course not. But I'm just saying, if there was one that felt worse to me, there definitely felt worse not being able to go into a lot of clothing stores and find anything. When I worked at the Van shoe store, I worked at the shoe store and I couldn't wear anything that they sold other than shoes, which was really frustrating to me because I liked a lot of the clothes, right? There are all these things that it was more of a systemic issue as far as instead of someone just saying something to me. Because, like, yeah, of course, I mean, we've all dealt with the, oh, you're fat comment, you're skinny, you're this, you're that. But for me, it was you dealt with that as well as feeling like things aren't made for you. And again, am I saying that that means we should just accommodate everyone? Like, no. But I think to realize, like, hey, this is at a different level than this. I don't even know why you even need to compare them. Like, this is worse than that and blah, blah, blah. Like, all of it is bad, right? I think that we can all agree on that. And so, yeah, those are just my thoughts on that one.
Well, when I hear fat shaming, skinny shaming, all that stuff, I just think back to like middle school, high school, picking on kids. It's bullying. I believe everyone goes through body dysmorphia. One of my homegirls is a model, and she's always complaining how she doesn't like the way she looks, even though like 99% of all women would probably prefer they looked like her. She hates the way she looks, and she's like, I wish my boobs were bigger. I wish my butt was bigger. I believe, that's the media, that's the entertainment industry, is they have a standard of what, at the end of the day, is desired, I guess, but not everyone's built like Marilyn Monroe.
You said 99% of women would probably want to look like her. That's to me, some of the language that is the problem, is that I'm assuming that she's probably of a thinner body,
Fair.
right, because she's a model, but a lot of women don't. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Your body you are the standard, you are the model.
So I understand where he's coming from here, and this is where maybe I disagree a little bit here. Because and I'm not saying he's doing this, but a lot of times when someone says, hey, I am skinny or I'm dealing with skinny shaming, someone that is maybe larger will be like, whatever, I don't even, like, that's ridiculous. You're being ridiculous. I don't want to hear it. And that's stuff I used to do when I was bigger, and I would have a friend of mine or someone that I knew that was, maybe 50 pounds overweight, be like, oh, I want to lose weight. I'd be like, whatever, get over it. Like, I don't want to hear it. You're being ridiculous. And so I think that completely, like, being like, well, my thing is worse than yours, so I don't really care about what you have to say. That's not helpful either, in my opinion. Like, don't just dismiss others because you feel like your issues are more of a deal. I don't know. My opinion, of course.
You are the beauty. Like, the fact that we think like that already is still what the problem is, and it's still why, to me, fat shaming is worse than the skinny shaming. Because, like, even our language, I know people just desire this really thin body. It's like that's the language in the language. When I get negative comments about my relationship with my partner, I kind of like to troll back. For example, if I tweet a picture of us kissing or dancing, people will spew the homophobic slurs and stuff. So I like to then just share more pictures of us kissing and really double down into it and let them know, honey, we're here to stay. The girls are not going anywhere, and just letting them know that I'm confident in myself. I'm happy, I'm in love, and I'm living my life.
I mean, I'm here for it.
I don't think I've ever been shamed for my body. I was always moving. I was always, you know, that I stayed fit my whole life. You know, to be if
Okay, I hope this doesn't sound mean, but she just looks so uncomfortable. Like it looks like she's like, I don't want to be here. I don't know how I got here. I'm scared. It's dark in here. Let me out, please.
fitness influencer, you have to have that image, that skinny, fit, toned look. That's really not the case. If you have the knowledge, if you have the passion to want to help people with their fitness journey, it doesn't matter. I highly believe that.
I feel pressure to look a certain way for my followers.
Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one. This is a good one. There was a time, 100%, your boy would have stepped forward here. But now, I like to troll everyone and do what I want. I lose hundreds of followers every day on Instagram, okay? Whenever I post a new nail set, or if I got a new piercing, or whatever. Yo, I lose more followers on Instagram right now than I gain. So if you want to follow me, go ahead. But like there was a time where I definitely felt this way and I would have stepped forward. I no longer feel this way, but this is a good question.
Yeah, you know, I'm a fat kid losing weight, man. You know, I got an expectation to uphold. You know, I get people all the time, haters, that are like, oh, he's gonna quit, crash diet, blah, blah, blah. But then, you know, there's kids that tell me, you know, you got me out of bed today. You're the best person on the internet. Like, I love you. If I can motivate someone, one person a day, to do something, to better themselves, I'm gonna do everything in my power to keep myself going. And that means not quitting. And that means...
So this is literally, like, no joke, the perfect example of why I say be very careful. And I know I've harked on this a lot. Be very careful if you become a weight loss influencer, because you will end up getting a lot of pressure that you did not think you would be getting. And it is very hard to deal with that. And it sucks. Like, I hope that he's able to handle it, because, I mean, he seems like a nice dude, and it sucks to go through that and feel this extra pressure. It's already hard enough to lose weight. You feel this extra pressure from your followers or from outside people telling you that you can do it, even if they're being nice. That can feel like pressure. But then there are people that are going to say, you can't do it, you're stupid, that's a dumb way to do it. That's also pressure. So this is why I'm always like, be very careful if you want to put your story online and try to inspire other people, because through that, you're going to deal with a lot of extra, benefits, I'll call it.
Means looking a certain way, always developing, always growing. And, because if I quit, I'm letting down thousands of people.
I used to feel a lot of pressure, but I think with practice, you get over those pressures, you learn how to deal with it and understand that the pressure is really from yourself. It's internalized. Like, you're thinking about what others think of you, when in reality they could care less. They don't even see the little things.
That's exactly it. I think we should stop worrying about what other people think.
But it's so hard. I mean, like, I could say...
I hate when people say that, dude. No offense, but like, yeah, we should. But like, that's really hard to do. My opinion.
That every day, and
it is.
I still think about what people think.
It is. We all do. But that's something that is a good challenge for all of us. That's something that we need to really just try. And once we get on that road, it's not easy. We're gonna have days where we're just gonna be like, oh, he thinks, I think. But if we can get past that, even just a little bit, it's just gonna make our lives even easier. Just stop worrying about other people. Worry about yourself. Yeah.
I also just feel like, like everybody else, this is my account and you are a guest here. I have had to learn to not be that way. So, and
I definitely understand that line of thinking for sure.
For Nick, I understand that, your social media and your journey is very different. Like, I could...
See, stuff like that, I know I'm pausing a lot, But like him, the way that he answered that question, but he didn't invalidate what I think Nick had said earlier. I think that's his name. It's like so many people do not possess that ability in any way. It's like, this is how I feel, and how you feel is obviously wrong because it's not exactly how I feel. Dude, I just wish more people had that one skill.
Could clearly see how people or your following would have those expectations for you to continue to lose the weight. It's like, okay, well, we joined this guy so that we could join his journey on his weight loss. So we only want to see him doing the weight loss. Like, you better not like plateau or gain. You know, I could definitely see that.
I mean, he literally put it perfectly. That's exactly what happens to people, like to a T.
Well, it's a sense of accountability, and it really helps me keep my shit going. Otherwise, I would have dropped out a long time ago, to be honest. And I don't do like, this is how to do a curl and things like that. I just do like how I feel. I sort of have a self-deprecating outlook on myself and how I feel. And it's sort of like a military style thing. Like, you're trash. Like, you will never be good. Just give up type thing to myself.
I think that's interesting that you
That's just hard to hear. I'm not sitting here, I'm not trying to be your dad or anything like that, but in my experience, that can only work for so long.
say that because the content that I post is not just for people. It's mostly for me, and it's part of my own. It's like, it's cathartic to see myself in like sweating, like trying to do a headstand and falling, or looking glam for an event, and everything between. So being authentic and like showing up as I am, whether people like it or not, or expecting it or not, is an exercise in self-love. It helps me accept myself. I was really shy as a kid, and also, overweight or fat. I think the misconception is that I wasn't intelligent and that I was lazy. Like, that's a lot of the bullying I got, right? Yeah, I don't think I...
Yeah, you hear that a lot. Like, definitely was something I heard quite a bit, was that I was lazy. And when I was in like high school and junior high, I was definitely not lazy. I played football, flag football. I skateboarded. I played DDR. I wasn't lazy. I just ate too much. Like, it was literally, I just ate too much, And I mean, I wasn't the smartest. I wasn't special ed and stuff like that. As far as like book smarts, I guess. I think I'm smart in other aspects of my life. But yeah, I understand that feeling.
I dealt with it well. It wasn't until later in life where I started to kind of reject that narrative.
Weight loss programs are toxic.
I think everyone would step forward on this one. Because if you're putting them all together, there are definitely many that are toxic. I'm not saying they all are, but there are many of them, right? So yeah, I would step forward here.
Fitness promoters are promoting these weight loss programs or these diets that aren't working for everyone. And it's kind
Man, for the most part, they ain't working for nobody.
of sad to see, because it's really affecting people and like the way they see fitness and health, and it's toxic.
I think, and the focus is always, or it seems to be like, just lose the weight, just lose the weight, just lose the weight, and then you'll be happy and everything will be okay and you'll feel good and you'll fit into that. But it's like, whoa, I can lose all that weight and I could still be miserable.
Personally,
Facts right there, 100%.
in my journey, one of my biggest points is I do not use a scale, because goals to me are limitations. And when you hit that goal, you get comfortable, AKA complacent. You're like, oh, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds and then I'm good. And so I don't focus on the weight, I focus on everything else. I focus on, getting out of bed, that routine of going to the gym, that routine of eating healthy, that normal feeling of like a caloric deficit and things like that.
That's a good way to do it too. I'm a fitness trainer too, and I tell my clients, I'm like, the scale really doesn't tell you much. You're gonna fluctuate. It's water weight, it's a lot to it. You gotta look at yourself in the mirror. You gotta see those physical changes.
I don't even think it's the
So for me, I've talked about this many times. I don't think the scale is an evil devil entity. Like, I think for a lot of people, it ends up not working and it becomes an unhealthy obsession. And yes, get rid of it. But it's not like, in general, the scale is a bad thing. If you're able to use it as the tool that it is intended, it can be incredibly helpful. If it ends up being more than that and becoming like everything to you, then yeah, maybe it's not the best thing to use. But just in general, I don't think the scale is this enemy evil thing.
physical changes, because I'm gonna be straight up, I probably had body dysmorphia for a little bit, and I would always like check myself in the mirror. You know, like after eating, I would check myself because I wanted to keep a six-pack because the fitness
Yeah, that's
industry told me that I needed a six-pack. You hear fitness influencer, and like the first thing you think is like weight loss program, selling a course. And I purposely wore this shirt this morning just to see like if there would be any extra bias. One thing I noticed about fitness being in the
He said, I was trying to flex on y'all a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alan, dog. I feel you.
space for so long is that just because you're into fitness doesn't mean you're into health.
Hey, that little nugget right there, so good. Just because you're in fitness doesn't mean you're into health. And your boy, oof, I feel that.
I told everyone that I dealt with body dysmorphia, and I think in terms of dealing with it, it's just learning that my value is not completely tied to my appearance. There's so many other things that I can see value in myself now. I really do enjoy the autonomy I have over my own health and my own wellness.
I have suffered from eating disorders.
Yeah, I'm going to step forward, and let's see how many other people step forward. Surprise, it's everyone. Whoopsies.
I didn't realize it until a couple years after, but I was tracking like every food. I did track calories, macros. Man, I had my scale and I would bring it like to the college's dining hall. I would like weigh everything. And it would get to the point where I would either eat before going out, like if I knew my friends were gonna go out to eat, I would eat at home so I could measure all the food out, put it into MyFitnessPal, and then go out and not eat with them. Or I would probably just not go out at all.
Food and
Man, that story right there is so relatable to so many people that are into fitness, or they get into fitness and they get into tracking, and they want to do like physique shows and stuff like that, because you have to be so on point and like everything to the gram has to be measured. It's hard to live a regular life while doing that. It really is very difficult. So that's why, again, I guess I'm getting on my soapbox. This is why I'm always like, if you want to do a show, I'm not saying you're not allowed to, but just understand it's a lot. It's a lot, and it can really mess with things in the future as well.
And fitness really took over my life for a few years. I was super, super obsessed with just, getting that goal weight or looking good and everything like that. And I found myself just super depressed. And I, didn't eat the foods I wanted to eat. And I over-exercised, and I wasn't myself. It was just a horrible point in my life, and I had to go see a doctor. I had to get that help. Mentally, I wasn't there. So these things are real. Like, this stuff happens, and people don't reach out enough.
The last time I had really restricted my eating, I needed to lose like almost 30 pounds in like 11 days. And I did that, and I stepped on the wrestling mat, and I had absolutely no strength. I had no...
Dude, this is like, I think I've talked about this before. It's crazy that in like high school and stuff, we have these sports that require people to do stuff like this. I'm assuming this was college for him, but like in high school, this is the same thing. Like, dog, that's wild. That's wild. And that happens so often.
Energy, no strength. I got whooped. I got tossed up and down the mat. And then after that, I told myself that I would never do it again. But of course, out of bad habits, I just picked up another bad habit and then began to enjoy binge eating. And then it was like, okay, well, now I'm not restricting anything, and now everything goes.
And how are you now?
Now I'm much better. Therapy, medication, everyday practicing, doing the right kinds of things. I'm much better now.
I suffered from an eating disorder. I had childhood trauma, and it took me until my adulthood to realize I was pacifying with food, and that's something that was taught to me. And then
I think a lot of people have been there before.
and on the other end of that, with extreme dieting, like I did the HCG protocol, where you eat 500 calories a day and give yourself an injection.
So it says right here, the HGD diet uses an extremely low caloric calorie intake to achieve dramatic weight loss. The Food and Drug Administration has deemed this diet dangerous, illegal, and fraudulent. Woo!
for months on end. And so I have done the full spectrum.
The 500 calorie diet, was that something with like a medical professional that they recommended?
Yeah.
This is why you can't trust nobody, man. Because Tyler was saying he only trusts doctors, but then doctors were like, yeah, just eat nothing. That's how you'll lose weight. It's frustrating, man. Trust me, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. Like, who do you trust? ObesetoBeast. That's why you're here. Hey, now. But seriously, it's like, I understand why people feel like losing weight is this impossible dragon that you have to slay, because there is so much information out there that, like, what is the right thing to do? No one knows. Or at least some, whatever.
How was that? Like,
It was traumatic. It drove me into a spiral. Like, I can relate to what you're saying about like bringing your scale and eating before you went out with your friends, because that was me. It's really, it's taken so much time for me to get to a point to even know what I like to eat. And it took me until like 25, 30 to even realize, okay, I don't actually like eating that. I actually don't like this. I like this. And it's been really healing to like reclaim my relationship with food. And
so a lot of people in chat are kind of asking about HCG. So basically it's this diet where you would go, I think you had to go to like an office and they would inject you with what they called HCG hormone, and that's how you would lose weight. But in reality, they would just put you on a 500 calorie a day diet. And so you're in an insane deficit, and that's how you're losing the weight, right? But it's like, you think that because you're getting injected at this office that you're going to, or maybe eventually they made it so you could do it yourself, but because you're injecting this stuff, that's the magic, it's the serum, it's the magic formula, right? Yeah.
And to say like, okay, this is what I like and this is what makes me feel really good.
As a fitness influencer, what are some things I can do that helps out the other side, which would be fat influencers? What are like certain things that you guys promote that you could see me promoting?
Really want people to stop looking at fat people and all of a sudden becoming medical professionals and telling me about high blood pressure and diabetes, because again, you're not a medical professional, right? Like let's let the fat people do the mukbangs too, Like, if you want to do one, that is so cool. But if a fat person wants to do one, let us just do it in peace. That would be my takeaway. Because you never know what we're doing behind the scenes. You don't know how many therapists, how many doctors, dietitians. You have no idea how many things that we've had.
I want to know a little bit more about the beauty standard on, we're in 2021 and it's not like back in the day now. Are we making the right direction? Is that good?
I think it's reactive. It's good. Like,
Yeah.
visibility is important. I've talked about this before earlier. I think that we all deserve to be represented, no matter what we look like, no matter what the status of our health. We should all see ourselves in the world. So I think, there is progress being made. There are brands that are making sizes that more people can wear. We are seeing body diversity.
It's crazy to me. It still is crazy to me that there are people that are upset about that, but whatever.
On magazines and things like that, but it's very reactive and it's very tied into commerce and marketing.
Yeah.
So is it real? I don't know, but it's part of our culture and it's slowly shifting for whatever reason, like regardless.
So I understand when she says, is it real? And that's a good question. And I think I've even been critical of this in the past, of like, oh, these brands are just doing it for money. But I mean, that's how life is, right? At least in America, capitalism, like, if it is going to make the brand more money, that's what they are going to do. That is the way that our society, that's how it is, right? Like, if you're going to make a product that nobody wants, I promise you're not going to be making that product for very long, because you're not going to have any money and you're going to be gone, right? So yes, there are more things popping up, but it's because there are more people that would like to use that product, right? So the companies are incentivized to make more of those things, right? Is that a bad thing? I don't know, but that is how things are set up under capitalism, right? Makes sense to me, right? Like,
it will eventually have an impact on society as a whole. So yes and no.
Is it going to promote people to think it's okay to be overweight.
Here's the thing, people have been fat since people have existed.
Yeah.
I don't think that showing us as we are is going to have a negative impact. We are here. We have always been here. You can go to the Louvre and see sculptures of fat people. Fat people have always been around.
Being a fitness influencer, it's good to see that perspective from everyone too. We all have our differences, but as long as we stay on the path that we want to stay on, healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally, we're going to be okay. And it's okay to get help. It always is okay to get help.
Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, so that's the video. Again, like, I thought that it was interesting. I think that it's a great video. I think that they picked some pretty good people. No one was like super intense. Like, obviously, I forget his name, but the guy that is like currently losing weight, he's obviously going through quite a bit. I think his name was Nick. He's going through quite a bit, and he is, battling some demons, which I understand. So I thought that was interesting to hear his, his point of view. And then the fat influencers weren't like super extreme on the other side of the spectrum. So it'd be interesting if they got people that like were really, really far on the opposites, because that would be very interesting. But yeah, that was fun to watch. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll link the original video in the description.